Discord drawing contest going on now. Link is in the description. What's good, everybody? My friends, family, fellow human beings. We're about to get down on some malicious compliance today. This one might be a little bit short, but it's still golden. Here we go. Entitled kid probably got nightmares after entitled mom demanded that her son plays a game on my computer. Notice, I posted this story originally on entitled parents, but after a lot of comments telling me to post it here too, I will do it. Enjoy this combo of entitled people and malicious compliance, and some petty revenge. Cast, me, some random dude in my house, I don't know who that is. M, my mother. EM, my aunt. EK, most annoying kid in the universe. Some context, backstory. I live in my parents' house since my university is really close, so I don't need to get myself an apartment. The story happened about a year ago. The story. On a beautiful Sunday morning, I got woken up by my mother, telling me that she has invited my aunt with her kids for lunch. Now, to be honest, I never liked that particular aunt that much, but what can you do? So about 2 hours later, the family comes over. We have our lunch, and afterwards, we sit around in the living room and chat about. At some point, I noticed from the corner of my eye one of my aunt's kids, EK, going to my room. Now, I had my computer open and I was a bit afraid that he might do something to it, so I followed him. Now, that kid was about 8 at the time, and he should in no way be allowed to play violent video games. And me being an avid gamer, most, if not all of the games I had installed were rated as
Peggy 18,
meaning they were to be played by people over 18. The conversation went like this. Entitled kid,
Do you have any games?
I do, but they're not for you. These are grown-up games.
But I want to play.
I'm sorry, but you cannot. At this point, the kid runs out of the room and to his mom. Entitled kid,
Op does not let me play games.
Entitled mom to me,
Come on, let him play some games. He has nothing else to do.
the games that I have on my computer are not for his age. They're violent and disturbing at times.
But my little boy wants to play. Can't you just let him play?
I'm sorry, but these games are not for your child.
Excuse me? We are guests, and you have to do what we say. Just let him play.
At this point, I've gotten really angry, and in hindsight, I should have just opened a Flash Games website and let him play. But this computer was my most prized possession, having built it myself with mostly my own money, and I would not let an 8-year-old play freely with it because I was afraid that he could damage it. Also, my malicious compliance side came out at that moment, so I did not pass the chance for some good old malicious compliance. I say okay to both mom and child and take the kid with me. I open Outlast. For those who don't know, Outlast is a horror game with many disturbing images and scary scenes, especially for an 8-year-old child, and let him play. Not even 5 minutes in, I hear a scream from my room and I see entitled kid run crying to his mother.
What the hell did you make him play? What's wrong with you?
I told you before, my games are not for young children. They're for adults, but you wouldn't listen. The mom straight up picked up her children, one still crying, and left the house. After I told my mom what exactly I did, she burst out laughing. Learn to listen to people when they warn you. Oh, that one is savage. I remember when I was a kid being scared shitless of Resident Evil. It brought me plenty of nightmares, but I still loved that game. You want to extort money from my business? You're being an asshole landlord? I will play by the rules, no worry. This happened quite some time ago. I was sent to Spain to a very small company to try and save it. It was during the financial crisis, so basically I tried first to spend less money, negotiating everything I could. First time I met the landlord, I saw this very old guy, shaking with all his bones, dressed like he couldn't afford clothes from the 21st century. But after the typical chit-chat, I tell him I am planning on moving out, because the rent was way too high. It was easily 30% above market. He then proceeds to show me one of his buildings he had an offer on that he just refused, 17 million euros, and basically told me to F off, and that he would agree on not raising the rent in the coming 12 months. That was when I started looking for something more decent and better than the beaten offices we had, and I found quite easily. Here comes the malicious compliance. When you exit offices, the landlord, especially where we had those offices, tries to fix everything with the deposit you put at the start of the lease. So knowing the piece of shit of a landlord I had, I talked to a lawyer I had in my contacts and explained him the situation. He then came up with an idea. The day comes when we have to leave the office. Our landlord, as a smartass he is, comes along with his lawyer to make sure we will follow the law. But what he didn't know was we also had our lawyer on site, one contractor to fix any minor problems on the spot, and a notary, so we could redact the document stating everything without possibility to discuss later. He was furious. We could fix everything. The only thing we had to replace was an AC, which never worked. So we ordered the worst possible one for €300 and got 100% of the deposit. Icing on the cake or cherry on top, pick one. The guy maintaining the building told us it took him more than a year to find someone else, and apparently at a way lower price. Landlords, man, they always try to take the deposit. It's just how it works. You just got to expect it. Take my seat? Enjoy getting up every 30 minutes. Bit of a backstory before we jump in. I've been in India for the last 2 weeks on a course with my university. Just a day before I flew out, I must have eaten something dodgy because I got the infamous Delhi belly, diarrhea. As someone who likes to think ahead, I decided to book aisle seats for all my flights, knowing I'd probably be taking multiple trips to the bathroom. The compliance begins on a 4-hour connecting flight. As I made my way to the seat, I realized an older woman had taken it for herself. I pointed at the number above, but instead of moving to her middle seat, she got up and motioned for me to sit in it. At this point, I thought about telling her what the deal was with my colonic calamity, but decided to just let my actions speak for me. As soon as the seatbelt sign went off after takeoff, I get up to take the first of many dumps. She had actually fallen asleep at this point, so I had to wake her up so she could get up, grumpily. 20 minutes later, I had to go again. A total of 4 shits later, and we're still 1.5 hours from landing. She's getting irate. Finally, after my 5th and final defecation, she offers to swap seats. Cherry on the top, I didn't even get up again until we landed. Edit, to everyone who is saying I was being an asshole, hell yeah I was being an asshole. Why should I have to explain myself because she can't follow the rules? It was clear she knew what she was doing from the beginning. Oh, diarrhea on a flight. That's definitely not a good time. Super rude customer says she can't eat pork because she's Muslim but wants extra bacon, then yells at me when I say it's pork and calls me uneducated. So I posted her photo on Facebook and outed her to the local Muslim community. For some context, I'm not Muslim, but my father is half Indian from a Muslim family, so I'm pretty much up to speed on these things. But I look like a very fair Indian, so often people get confused about my ethnicity, thinking I'm full European. I'm a salesperson and control the media of a boutique that is part of a restaurant, and it's a small place, so sometimes I just wander around when the boutique is empty and get mistaken as a server. We get super busy sometimes, so I help out the servers. One day, this lady, I'll call her CL for Crazy Lady, walks in with her friend and before she sits, starts flicking her fingers at the servers and yelling for someone to serve her. It was a hectic day because it was one of our public holidays. It was actually Prophet Muhammad's birthday. So I got 2 menus and greeted them, waiting for their drink orders. Crazy Lady just spits her and her friend's drink orders at me. Had to wash my face numerous times afterwards. Then proceeded to ask about some of the dishes. This was our brunch time, so we were still doing full-on breakfast meals with bacon and such. She asks which dishes have pork and I point them out, but also offer to remove any of the bacon from the dishes. Crazy Lady looks at me like I'm the stupidest thing on earth, saying,
I asked about pork, not bacon. You stupid, uneducated white girl.
Now was my turn to look at her like, what the f***? I then looked at Crazy Lady's friend, who just had this defeated look on her face. I explained to her that bacon is from a pig, and that it's essentially a form of pork, so therefore not allowed for her. I know this because I've had my Muslim cousins whine to me about not having bacon. She started getting upset at me and yelled at me.
I know more about my religion than you, stupid white girl. F off and get my bacon.
At this point, I pretty much give up. It's getting busy and I'm turning heads to our table. I can't afford to lose this job, so I comply, especially with Crazy Lady's request for extra bacon. I tell the cooks and servers who were watching the whole ordeal, and so we're all trying to stifle our laughter and groans behind the counter. I serve Crazy Lady and her friends food. Crazy Lady ordered our Oriental breakfast, which has everything and was topped with heaps of bacon scattered across the plate. She looked very happy. And her friend had the same but without any bacon and was looking apologetically to me the whole time. I was ready to leave it be and go serve another table when Crazy Lady started telling me off, saying that I didn't listen to her on how to do her bacon. She didn't even tell me at all, bloody hell, and that I should really take feedback from customers like her and post it on our Facebook page so people know how we are. I was pretty pissed off at Crazy Lady and didn't want to yell because I knew I'd get fired, so I did the next best thing. Honestly, I think I only thought of this after reading so many stories on here. I agree with her, saying that yes, we should take her thoughts into consideration on our Facebook page. So since I'm the media person for both the boutique and the restaurant, I asked if I could take a photo of her eating lunch and post her feedback as an official post on our page. She looked over the moon at the thought of publicity and readily agreed to it. The friend just excused herself and moved away from the photo. I don't know if she knew what I was thinking or... Anyways, I take Crazy Lady's photo, add her comments, and get her Facebook tag so she's tagged in the photo. However, when I was getting ready to post it, I added a caption. On Prophet Muhammad's birthday, this lovely customer came in and ordered our Oriental breakfast with extra bacon. We pride ourselves in giving the customers exactly what they tell us they want. Needless to say, the comments of shock and horror on the post by her family and friends at the pork were endless, and I eventually got a message from her to take it down saying that she didn't want it up anymore for personal reasons. Be nice to your servers and know what you're allowed to eat before you preach in our faces about us being uneducated about things. I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm glad I'm not Muslim. Nothing against the religion, but I like my bacon, and I'm gonna keep it that way. Who wants to join my bacon cult? Discord links in the description.